Have you ever listened to a chord and wondered, is that two notes, three notes, or maybe four? Well, you're not alone. Even experienced musicians struggle with this, and it's one of the most common challenges students face on the math test. I'm Bea, and today we're discussing one of the trickiest parts of the Music Aptitude Test called texture. If you're preparing for the math test or just want to sharpen your ear training skills, you're in the right place. This is our second math test texture tutorial, and we'll be learning how to identify whether you're hearing 2, 3, or 4 notes in a chord. But here's the thing, it's not just about counting notes. It's about understanding how chords feel in the different registers and how your brain processes these sounds. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a clear strategy for identifying chord density that goes way beyond just trying to count individual notes. So grab your headphones, find a quiet space, and let's unlock the secrets of chord texture together. We always start with the middle register because it's closest to our human voice range. This is where we recognize frequencies most easily and quickly, since it's the range of our spoken voice and most songs we hear. Let's begin with a familiar C major chord, C, E, G. This sounds full, rich, and harmonious because we've heard major chords thousands of times in popular music. Store this feeling in your memory. Notice not just how it sounds, but how it feels in your body when you hear it. Now let's hear other major and minor chords to practice and learn how these chords feel. When we remove the middle note and play just the outer notes, for example C and G in the C major chord, we get what's called a perfect fifth. And here are some characteristics of two notes: thin and light, easy. They can also sound like one note. When you hear two notes, they are quite straightforward to identify. Let's listen to C and G, and then I'll show you examples of other two-note chords in the middle register. Adding a fourth note, like A, to a C major chord creates a completely different experience. 4 notes are fuzzy and complex, more robust and heavy, harder to identify individual notes, or sometimes your brain thinks this is tough to process. I'm going to play the standard C major chord, C, E, G, and then I will add the fourth note A, so you can hear the difference between the standard 3-note chord and a 4-note chord. So did you spot how different it felt when there was a fourth note? Now I'm going to play different examples of 4 notes in a middle register. Now let's talk about register changes. Same chords, but different feelings. Let's talk about the higher register first. We will take the same chord, C major chord, with the note A at the bottom and taking that same chord up 2 octaves. Now let's talk about 2 notes played in the higher register. They sound super light and thin, almost like one note. Now I'm going to play 3 notes in a very high register. Three notes sound light but with slight depth compared to 2 notes. 4 notes played in a high register sound fuzzy with mini clashes, and there are complex vibrations. The sound that you will hear will be less clear, not as easy to identify as just hearing 2 notes. I will demonstrate what the difference is between 2 notes in a higher register and 4 notes. You can hear that the 4-note chord has lots of mini clashes and the sound is quite fuzzy and not very clear. Here's an important note: high notes don't vibrate as long, so they fade quickly and sound thinner overall. Now let's talk about the lower register. Moving the same chords down to bass notes, they will sound heavy and they can also sound awkward or clashing. Three notes can sound quite dark and very robust. And let's talk about 4 notes in a low register. It will sound very thunderous, like a dark castle. You will feel a lot of weight and depth, and it will be incredibly difficult to identify individual notes. Remember, each note vibrates much longer in lower registers, creating that heavy, intense feeling. So don't focus on the volume or the heaviness, as even two notes can sound intense when using lower notes. Critical listening strategy. The middle note problem. Middle notes in chords act like camouflage. They blend so well they're hard to detect. Our brains naturally focus on the lowest and the highest notes, so that middle note can be tricky to identify. Compare the same chord with one and without the middle note to train your ear to detect it. I will now play a few examples of a three-note chord where I will remove the middle note in a second playthrough. The seventh interval trap. The interval between the seventh and eighth notes of a scale, like A all the way to G sharp, is particularly challenging because it's naturally clashing and wants to resolve back to the octave or back to the home note. So when you hear a clashy sound, check whether those two notes are just interacting with each other in a clashy way because they are a seventh apart. And you can hear how that G sharp wanted to resolve to the octave. Many students mistake this for three notes due to its clashing quality. So don't be fooled. Always check your bottom and top note and see if there are any other notes in between. And here are some practical identification tips. Ask yourself these questions. How does it feel? Is it light or thin, which equals fewer notes? Is it heavy or fuzzy, which equals more notes? Is it super fuzzy? That means it's probably four notes. Does it sound almost like one note? That's likely to be two notes. Is there familiar depth without being overwhelming? Probably three notes. Use your internal voice. Try to sing back what you hear. Your brain can process and echo chord tones quickly. Use this natural ability to help identify individual notes. And here are some register-specific guidelines. High register chords. Even three notes can sound thin. Focus on whether it's super light, which is two notes, versus slightly more depth. Low register chords, two-note intervals can be very clashing, especially sevenths. Three notes create that familiar, dark, but stable feeling. Four notes are unmistakably heavy and thunderous. Here are some practice exercises. Play the same chord in different octaves and notice how your emotional response changes. Start with four notes, remove one at a time, and internalize the difference in feeling. Try to sing back chord tones to engage your natural pitch processing. Don't just count notes, describe the feeling. Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it fuzzy or clashing? These are the sort of questions you should be asking yourself. And here are some final tips for the exam. Trust your feelings. If it feels thin and light, it's probably 2 notes. Watch for 7th intervals. They're clashing but still only 2 notes. Remember register effects. The same chord feels completely different in different octaves. Practice active listening. Close your eyes and really absorb both the sound and the physical sensation. The key to success is combining technical knowledge with emotional response. Train yourself to feel the difference between chord densities and you'll be much more confident in the exam. Practice these concepts with any piano, virtual or acoustic, and continue developing your ear training skills. And we're done. We've covered everything from the foundation of middle register listening to the tricky world of 7th intervals and register changes. Remember, the key isn't just technical knowledge, it's training your ear to feel the difference between chord densities. Now, I know this might seem overwhelming at first, but here's what I want you to do. Start with just one concept from today's video. Maybe it's the middle register foundation, or perhaps it's the register comparison exercise. Practice that one thing until it becomes second nature, and then move on to the next one. And remember, even professional musicians find chord density challenging. This isn't about being perfect immediately. It's about building your listening vocabulary step by step. If you like this video and are still struggling with the texture questions for the Music Aptitude Test, we break every type of chord down in detail in our texture masterclass. Book the masterclass from the link in the description. If this video helped you understand chord texture better, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which concept was most helpful for you. I read every comment and your feedback helps us create better content for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want more math test tutorials and ear training tips. Until next time, keep practicing, trust your ears, and remember, every expert was once a beginner. You've got this. See you in the next video.